Hey guys, what's going on? JH Vlogs here, back again with another video, this time discussing committee roles. I'm going to talk through what gives me the right to talk about committee roles in the first place, how much work it is to run, what the roles can entail, if there's any discernible benefit from taking on a committee position. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, get cozy, pull up a chair, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. But first, just quickly, my question of the day is, if you ate yourself, would you become twice as big or completely non-existent? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below and I'll reveal the answer at the end of the next video. If you want to stay tuned to the end of this video, I'll discuss who'd win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla. So get any last minute comments you have, again, down in the box below. But back to committee roles. More specifically, what makes me qualified to talk about committee roles? Well, in first year I didn't have any positions, I was just finding my feet, I was new to the whole university scene. But since then, I've become the Treasurer of the Finance Society. As the Treasurer of the Finance Society, I helped to grow membership 12% up year on year, so that the society as a whole passed the 100-member mark. I was voted the President of the Real Estate Social Club Society, although I never got to fulfil that role. The society unfortunately ran into a few technical difficulties with the pandemic, and I instead became the course representative for my pathway, planning and development, where I now sit on the student committee, liaising with staff and voicing the concerns of any students. Which you can imagine, there's been a few concerns given the whole shift to online learning, but that's a different story for a different day. So the takeaway from this is that I have a bit of experience when it comes to committee roles. Not unrivaled amounts, but more than your average Joe. Get it? Because my name's Joe. But moving on. Regarding running for these roles and committee positions, the best thing I can advise is actually just to be friendly, smiley, chatty, and just about the place on campus. It's negated the role of most campaigning that I've needed to do. Just again by simply being there and being friendly, talking to people, taking interest in them. Again, you're surprised what you can learn when you listen to other people, but you're also listening to them, you're catering for them, and they'll want to vote for you in response for that, because I think, again, particularly in the committee role where you're looking after their concerns, like in a welfare sec, they're people that will want that need catered for. I'm lucky that this is something that I now find easy, but that's only because I've practiced it. The more you practice something, the more likely you are to be competent at it, and that's the sort of level I put myself at. So it's just one of those things where you just have to keep going, you just have to keep being friendly, keep practicing, and it will just flow for you. It's all about those little improvements you can make. You don't even have to speak to everybody to get votes. Purely by being around and being there and being smiley and having like a good rapport around you can make other people vote for you, as they'd rather vote for somebody like that than somebody they've never heard of, never seen, never done anything with before. This is why personally I try and attend any extra meeting or talk or function on possible, just again to get myself out there, speak to as many people as I can, which again, whilst I'm there, it's not like a chore. I'm learning, I'm seeing different things, I'm meeting new people. Like, it becomes this self-perpetuating cycle to the upside. Taking this genuine interest in people not only helps to increase my own knowledge, but it builds up this good image of you, it builds up this good rapport when you're, in fact, again, a lot of the time, learning and developing yourself. It's like a win-win. Other than that, another big tip of mine is that when you're running, particularly as a lot of it's run online, is to upload a picture of yourself, because who wants to vote for some anonymous, just the Facebook picture comes to mind, the classic head and shoulders, but yeah, who wants to vote for something like that? You'd rather vote for a face, a human to human. You don't want a robot taking over. So get a nice little picture of yourself up on there. Also, along those lines, I wrote myself a very quick manifesto and slogan. This probably took me in total about 15 minutes to write, but it's just something different. It shows I've put effort in, it shows I've done something rather than just nothing. Like, even if it's not your top tier of work, at least you've done something. And the more you want a position, obviously, the more time you want to put into it, and the more professional you want your photo. But it's just something to get you started, and it helps you to stand out from other people who may literally just be running just for the sake of running and have blank spaces below their anonymous pictures. Outside of this, the only other thing I could think of right now was that I asked my close mates to vote for me on the day, because again, they're my close mates and I'd hope they'd vote for me. I was just giving them that reminder of when the voting was open and when it closed. Moving on to talk about the different roles you can have as a committee member. Now, again, this is quite a broad topic and it really will vary depending on which role you have secured, both within a society and from one society to another. For instance, my role on the board of the Finance Society as Treasurer was to basically tick off, legitimise any payments being made, make sure that whatever was coming out of the club was legitimate, it wasn't somebody trying to line their own pockets, it wasn't us trying to be ripped off, and that, again, spending was managed so that we could continue operating for the year rather than spending it on one massive pizza party at the start of term. This was one very specific and unique role that was just for me, but a lot of the roles I actually undertook were a lot more team focused and team based. So say when we held an events night, my job was on the door, basically ticking people in, welcoming them, showing them where to go, greeting the talker as they came in, again, making sure they felt welcome, getting them a coffee if they needed, anything like that. Another role I undertook was to help trading simulations that ran every Thursday. It wouldn't have been fair for the same couple of committee members to give up their time every week, every Thursday, whilst other committee members were doing nothing. So we had basically a rota where some would go and some wouldn't, and we took it from there and took my role on, and I learned more about trading. But I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot I have to learn. But it was a start. So for some sort of time element, I would say that every 6 weeks there was about 4 or 5 hours worth of work to do. I've probably underestimated that slightly, but there was definitely under 10 hours of work to do for all of this upside gain. As I said, I learned more about trading, but on top of that, I also had fun doing it. As a comparison, being on the committee between staff and students, the work was a lot less regular. We had meetings with staff once a term, and before those it was our job to go out and basically collect the thoughts and feelings of students from across the campus. Were they having any issues? Is there anything they wanted resolving? Was there any areas they wanted more clarity on? Talking through, digesting these and bringing them to staff. Seeing if it was a one student problem, a multi-student problem or an all student problem, and going from there. Now this obviously meant there was a lot of downtime, but unfortunately problems didn't just present themselves nicely, they could crop up at any time. So it wasn't just around those meetings, you sort of had to be on call, you always had to be on the lookout. Was there anything that people were struggling with or having difficulties with? And as you can imagine, shifting from classroom learning to online learning, there was a fair few problems that needed resolving. It was all about being on call, being able to handle these whenever they popped up and getting the best solution possible for that given problem. So that's been the type of work I've been up to when I've had a committee role. But did I get any discernible benefits from this? Well, let me tell you, I feel that I did. I'm a big believer in giving back, and I've had some great experiences throughout my time at university through the selfless acts of others, and I want to do my part to give back. Society has given me a great way to do this, especially when I'm so passionate about certain subject areas. I can guide that passion and mould it in my own image of how I wish, like any improvements on the already amazing service I've received. So I can do things the way I want to do them. I can put my own stamp on things. I can create, I can mould, obviously as part of a team, but I get my say in how things can be run and can be improved, whilst also giving others an opportunity that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And I know they otherwise wouldn't have had this opportunity because I was in their shoes but 12 months ago. On top of that, there are also additional networking opportunities. When you're spending a lot of time liaising with lecturers, you can build up a rapport with them, you can begin to talk to them, so you feel more confident approaching them and they can approach you. And it helps you to get a better understanding of why they're teaching a certain way, what are they trying to get at, what are they trying to make you think about, and from there is where you can get the higher marks. Or say if it was with an external talk with a finance society, it gives you time to speak to the external speaker one-to-one and understand why did they choose this career path, what do they think would help you succeed, and getting to speak to them again one-to-one or 1-to-5 instead of everybody in there getting their elbows in trying to push and get to the front to get this person's attention. In turn, as you spend more time with them and there's fewer of you that are spending time with them, you build up a stronger rapport and a stronger relationship. There are some great people that I've met this way that I'm still in contact with on the regular, and again, I wouldn't say we're close friends, but if I ever saw them out, it's again the sort of person you'd stop, you'd sit down, you'd have a chat with, you go out and grab a coffee or grab a drink or go and grab a bite of food, like you'd feel very comfortable approaching them, and there's somebody you can go out and speak to and it just gives you that little bit more enjoyment in life. It's those less tangible things, it's those memories. On the back of which you can also talk about the connections you can build through inter-year mingling. When you're on a society, again, it's not like first year society, second year society, third year society. It can be, but not often. But it gives you that ability to talk to other years and begin to connect year groups together, like one bridge will form another bridge will form another bridge, and you begin to maybe find new friends. Like, again, there's been some great people I've met, again, we'll go out for drinks, we'll do whatever, and we've purely met through a society basis. And if you're on a course like real estate, which is so network based, it's also brilliant because then you've got access to not just your year group, but you've then got indirect access to a year group above you, below you, and possibly one more above you or one more below you. It triples or quadruples the amount of people you've got exposure to, which in a connections game is everything. As you see, a lot of these benefits it gives you aren't just there given to you on a plate. It then gives you the opportunity to go and do these and get these benefits. It's put the power in your hands. Are you hungry? Are you out there? Are you doing these things? For instance, maybe there's a talk coming up, you seem interested in it, but you're just tired on the day. You know, we all get in those moods where you just can't be asked to go to it. But being a committee member, you sort of feel you have to go to it. So you get up, you go to what you otherwise wouldn't have gone to, and bang, once you're there, you really enjoyed it, you've met new people, you've had fun, you've learned something new, and all you need was that little kick of extra bit of motivation. And that's what being a committee member can do for you, as you have to go, you're held to a standard. You can also learn new things through the connections that you've made through being the committee member. Like I said, through attending other talks previously, you can learn something of somebody else by matching them on LinkedIn, or you can learn something of somebody else just by listening to them. Just what are they talking about? I also feel that off the back of being a committee member, my organisational skills have improved, not just because I have to collate and do certain tasks, but I have more tasks in the same amount of hours, so I have to be more efficient. I have to look at my process, right, what's taking me too long? Where can I shave some time off? Where can I be more efficient? And it's helping me to be a better worker. I have to fit more in. Parkinson's law, work expands to fill the time that you give it. And I feel like I'm not just shrinking the time I need, I'm also increasing the quality of my output, so it's like a double win. I don't know if you would call that organisation, but I'm going to call it organisation. There is also the fact that it helps your CV to stand out. It shows employers that you're passionate, it shows that you've got willing, you're a doer, if that makes sense. You're not just there somebody actively lapping it all up, you're out there, you're going, you're finding things, you're taking roles, you're being active, you're running the show if you like, your future leadership position, possibly within a firm. But it also shows that you've got at least some amount of communication skills to secure such a position, and it shows that you must be relatively easy to get on with, because again, otherwise people wouldn't have voted for you and you wouldn't have got that position in the first place. So it doesn't even have to be related to the sector or the industry you're going into. Like again, finance compared to development and planning, the two aren't linked, but you can see where the transferable skills are coming from. You can see that again, it's about managing spending, it's about being social, it's about making connections. You see where the crossover can come. It's just the fact you're doing something, the fact you're going out, you're communicating, you're building those basic transferable skills. If there is anything I've left unclear, or you do have any questions, please do let me know and drop it down in the comment section below, and I'll try to clear it up for you. But moving forward to the debate section of this video, and who would win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla? Now, I have to say, the winner of this round is the grizzly. They're bigger, heavier creatures. They've also got the razor sharp claws on each paw that help them to cut and penetrate. They're built for taking down other animals, again with these claws, with these swipes. They've also got bigger, thicker defenses. They've got bigger layer of fat, they've got more fur, they're more protected from a gorilla. So for that reason, my money is on the grizzly. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Get commenting and comment for next week on whether if you ate yourself, would you become twice as big or disappear completely? AKA another completely unrealistic scenario. Other than that, if you could please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it, and in return I'll continue to bring you university and real estate based content. Well, thank you very much for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.